Hey everybody, it's Dr. May. How are my DVTers out there and other people? I hope you're good. Today I came up with a topic that I think it's related to a lot of us really, and something that is worth exploring because we all have dreams in our life where we've all dreamt about how we want our future to be. And sometimes those dreams come true and other times they don't. And sometimes when they don't come true, it can be pretty crushing and disappointing for us. And finding a way to make meaning of that experience and to get through it is really important, especially when the disappointment could really get extreme. You know, it could even turn into depression and resentment and other things. So I thought this would be worth us going through today. All right. So let's get this here. All right. So the title is Dreams and Disappointments. All right. And of course, we're going to skillfully talk about how we can work our way through this too. Okay, so the first thing I want us to think about is what were or are your hopes and dreams? You know, when you were younger, what did you want for your life? You know, maybe you're not living the life right now that you were always hoping you would. I mean, maybe you are, but I know there's a lot of you out there that are thinking like, this is not what I was planning. You know, maybe you had something more idealistic in mind or a different kind of career or, you know, being married or having a kid or having a happier relationship than you have. And maybe, you know, it's hard to deal with your life not being the way you thought it was supposed to be. I know some of you watching might be in the hospital and you never thought you would be the kind of person who would be in a psych hospital. Or maybe you have a mental illness and you never thought you would even have a mental illness. You never even knew what one was, right? So sometimes things don't always happen the way we planned. So we have to figure out, like, how do I cope with that, right? All right, so think about too, just as a point of reflection, if your dreams didn't come true and your life didn't turn out the way you had originally thought it would, how have you coped with that? You know, was it a totally shattering experience, kind of like that shattered dreams picture I have here? Or was it something that you were able to move through? You know, and if you were shattered by it, that's, you know, we could still figure out ways to get beyond that. And we're going to talk about some of those suggestions today. All right. But it's important to reflect upon this. Like, how has that impacted my life? You know, and have I been struggling to radically accept what my life has become? Okay, so sometimes when our dreams don't come through, these are some common ways of coping. So one is to avoid getting hurt again, because if it was a really painful experience, you might be afraid to make more plans for the future or to even allow yourself to dream big, because the idea that it won't come true again or that you'll be that hurt and disappointed again might be too much for you. So you might have coped by just, you know, trying to forget about the whole thing just to avoid disappointment. Another one is maybe, you know, the dream's small, but with hesitation, just like a little cynical, maybe like, yeah, all right, I'll dream a little bit and I'll make this little plan, but you know, I'm not having any kind of big expectations. So that kind of keeps you a little safe also. Other times, you know, if you're more of a risk taker, you might allow yourself to dream big and just trust that if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out and I'll find a way through it, right? So that's a little bit more of the resilient method of doing it, right? So trusting that your coping skills will be there for you. And if it's not meant to happen, it's not meant to happen, that it's not going to totally turn your life upside down, okay? So just wondering if you have a few more problematic responses too, in case you find yourself in one of these categories, you know, because a lot of people struggle with this, okay? So one is that you could really take it to heart and not just deal with it as an experience that didn't work out, but kind of like to take it to be like, maybe that means I'm a failure, right? What does this mean about me that I couldn't achieve this thing? You know, and that could be some dangerous territory because now we're really judging and labeling ourselves and we're making it seem like there must be something wrong with me because I couldn't make this work, right? And sometimes, you know, we just can't let go of those old dreams and we ruminate about them. We obsess about them. We think, well, why not? And what did I do wrong? And, you know, think about all the things that were problematic. And it's hard to let go of that. And it can be very painful. And sometimes to try, in an effort to alleviate that pain, you might even end up turning to substance abuse or, you know, other target behaviors. And so it's not just a disappointment of that anymore. It's other things layered on top of it, right? Or like the other slide said on the left, you might end up giving up. And instead of, allowing yourself to think ahead, you might just say, well, what's the point? Right. And that's kind of sad because as long as we're still alive, we still have a chance. Right. And we still can make things good for ourselves. All right. So, one of the things to keep in mind, I'm going to move to more of a positive view now, is that failure is universal. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that, like, not everything's meant to work out. That even people who are very successful have had to go through a lot of failures first. So this might just be one failure for you on the path to something that's really the right path for you. So it doesn't mean it's all over. It just means it's like part of the journey. And if we kind of see it that way, we just feel like, okay, all right, so if everyone goes through that, I can go through that too, right? It's just part of my journey. And we can't be too perfectionistic about it, right? Because no one gets to win all the time. Not everything everyone hopes for comes true, right? I mean, that would be too good to be true, probably, right? That we have to suffer some disappointments once in a while. And also, most people get second chances. So if one thing doesn't work out, maybe something else will. Okay. All right. So what are some other positive responses, right? So these are more flexible responses that may allow us to have some success if we, think about it this way. So what if you held on to some of your dream, but expressed it in a slightly different way? So let's say you always wanted to be a professional chef, like in that picture, right? And somehow that didn't work out for you. Well, maybe you could still do some version of that. Maybe you still could really enjoy cooking just for fun, or entertain your friends and they'll all love what you have to cook. Or, just like do it as a hobby. Or maybe do a little catering thing on the side, but you're not working in a 5-star restaurant. But sometimes it can still be satisfying, even if it's not as, you know, intense or extreme or, professional as you originally thought. Right. So think of some version of that, right? Or maybe one thing to think is too, well, okay, if that dream came true, right? How would I like to feel if it did come true? Right? So if I became that chef, what would that do for me? Would it make me happy? Would it make me feel fulfilled? Would it make me feel like, you know, like I could accomplish something, that I was admired? Like, what am I looking for as a general after effect of achieving that dream? And so once you define that, then you could think of, well, how else could I achieve those things? Maybe there's a variety of options. It's not just like that only one thing could do that for me, right? So maybe there's other ways to feel, accomplished or fulfilled or loved or appreciated. And you just have to be creative about finding what that is. Another thing too, in terms of, let's say, radical acceptance, is instead of beating yourself up for even having the dream in the first place, like, God, I was so foolish for even thinking that that would be able to happen for me. Try to, like, be compassionate toward the person you were while you were dreaming. Maybe you were more innocent at that time, or more optimistic or hopeful, and your life was in a different place. So try to have more love and acceptance toward who you were when that dream was really active in your life. And that could kind of help soothe you also, right? Because you don't need any extra any extra, shame and beating yourself up over, just having the fact that you had a dream to begin with, right? All right. So believe it or not, there's actually could be some upsides of dreams not coming true. All right. So think about the fact that even having that dream or allowing yourself to have that dream took some courage, right? So it was a sign that you were willing to put yourself out there a little bit, maybe even articulate it to somebody and share it, even though maybe it was a little bit of a different kind of a thing you were hoping for, right? So that's not so bad. Another thing, if it doesn't come true, sometimes it makes us more grateful for what we still have left. So although I was disappointed in that dream not coming true, at least I still have, and then you can fill in the blank, right? Maybe I still have a family member or a partner that still loves me. Maybe I still have another job that's not my favorite, but at least I'm making money. Or at least I still have my health, right? Maybe there's still some things left over that are still worthwhile focusing on, even if it's not that thing you wished for. So this is very related to the ABC please for the A, accumulating positives. It's like finding the positive that's still there, even if you might have overlooked it before. Okay, and the fact that we could dream and get through it when it doesn't come through and survive that challenging, stressful situation could help us become more resilient. Because resilience is really about bouncing back from stress and dealing with this stress and moving through it and learning from it could help build our resilience. So when we come across something else, we might be able to apply those lessons to that next stressor and be better at dealing with that. Okay, and another thing is that we think about it, we're not the only one who was ever disappointed by a dream not coming true. There's probably millions of people, maybe everybody at some point in their life had to deal with this problem. So if we remember that, it actually could help us feel more empathetic toward those people and relate to them and feel more connected to others because we have this shared challenging experience. And feeling interconnected could be a very positive thing, even if it's over something that we didn't really want to begin with. All right, so this is the upside. Okay, and another thing is that, which is part of the upside, if we let go of old dreams that aren't working for us, it leaves us freer to have new dreams and new aspirations that maybe will work for us. All right. So if I keep obsessing about that thing that, isn't meant to happen, it's sucking up all my mental energy, maybe even physical energy, or maybe even time. So if I let that go, think of how it's going to free me up. Maybe I'll be able to spot more opportunities for new stuff that sparked my interest. So that's one of the benefits there too. And you could also learn from what didn't work about those dreams and maybe reshape your new ones so that they are more likely to work. So for example, right, maybe I wasn't meant to be a professional chef. So maybe I'm just meant to be an amateur chef, right? So maybe in the future, when I think about what I want to do, I might say, well, I really like to play tennis. That's a dream for me. I'd like to play, but maybe I'm never going to be Venus Williams or Serena Williams, right? Maybe I'm just going to go to my local park and knock around the tennis ball for fun with some people. And that's fine for me, right? Or join some kind of intramural league. So maybe shaping it that way might help. Or maybe kind of getting to know yourself better makes you think like, what's more accessible to you, what's more affordable for you in terms of the things you want to do, right? So you could kind of learn from the past to make the future better, right? And finally, related to that other thing, we have to get rid of the life we planned so we could have the life that's waiting for us, right? So maybe the universe has a much bigger plan for us than we ever could imagine. And if we let go of our little small self plans, we'll be able to spot it, right? Just like the guy on that mountain seeing the whole big landscape there that maybe he didn't see because his vision was so short-sighted. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys feel a little bit more optimistic and helps you see this issue in a different way, in a way that helps empower you so that you could approach your future even better. All right, well, thanks for listening and see you soon. All right, bye everybody.